dating because I'm trying to find someone that I can connect with, you know.
They gotta be intelligent, they gotta have a good sense of humor, they gotta be spontaneous.
Literally, you go to a mediocre date, and you come home, you got 30
out.
emails from guys in your inbox, you're like, mediocre and 30 more guys.
Yes.
This is the confusion that so many women are going through today. As they're getting older, they're going, why am I not, one, attracting a man, and two, is why don't I stay attracted to the men I find?
Good question. John Gray's answers come from his 30 years as a gender expert and mega best-selling author. He says men and women have such different perspectives on life and love, it's as if they grew up on different planets. Mars and Venus, to be exact.
In relationships, what men need to know about women is, first of all, that they're not like men. And there's no way a woman can reference how different men are.
If you doubt it, put a group of men together to talk about dating, then some women, and stand back.
Well, I've learned not to trust that initial gaga, oh wow, this is a great woman, because as she starts talking, sometimes, stuff comes up that's not very attractive.
I believe that when you go on a date and try to meet someone, that in my opinion, I think it's 7.5 seconds. I don't know what your guys' rule of thumb is, but 7.5 seconds, you pretty much figure out whether that girl's going to have sex with you or not.
I don't think it's something that grows. You have to have that chemistry, and then you start,
unfolding the
layers.
personality.
You have to have that click first.
You
I
have to
agree
have
on
a click
that.
where you look at that.
You're like,
my
okay,
gosh.
yeah.
It has
And if I don't have that, the whole date will go bad.
I can tell very, very quickly, in all seriousness, whether or not it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's, I guess,
I
my
mean, I
point.
can rule it out really, really
Yeah.
quickly, within seconds,
Yeah.
it seems. Maybe it's longer than that. It's much more difficult to know if it
it's-
actually
yeah.
is going to work. And then you get to all those opportunity cost issues, don't you? Say you're busy and you've got 2 nights a week. Do you want to meet 2 other people, or do you want to see that person again? And if your time is so...
But you were just the one who was making organic argument of that you need to spend time with women in order to
Yeah,
fall in
but
love
organic
with
But
them.
that's as opposed to dating.
Dating is where somebody
That's
sets you
like
up.
meeting... I don't know how you do that through dating. You'd have to basically say, hey, let's hang out together for the next couple months.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Right.
I didn't even have a date. I just saw him and just felt the energy and went, oh, I need you. Come here, And then he just started talking and flirting and dancing and whatever. And then it's like, great, it was fun. But I never even had the initial date process with some of these guys that I've met just like that, where it's like instant energy or instant attraction.
It's the opposite for me. Every man I've ever been seriously involved with was my friend first, and I wasn't attracted to him.
My last serious boyfriend was that scenario because I was working with him, and he was this crazy guy, crazy energy. I mean, nobody thought he was handsome, and I just grew to love him. And my friend's like, "What are you doing with him?" But it was one of those things. He became a friend, and then you just fell in love with him, and there's things about them that you appreciated. But
Yeah, that
those are
works
great,
better
too.
for me. I'm not the physical thing. In fact, I kind of distrust it. If a guy is too good looking and I have that sort of immediate spark, it's like, oh.
I will say, if in fact somebody starts complaining, it's just a serious red flag for me, because all perspective is just, the glass is either half full or half empty, and it continues that way for the rest of your life.
Somebody that's got a pessimistic view of life is a total turn off. Also, somebody for me that's very materialistic is a turn off for me as well.
Or beautiful woman syndrome is the worst.
Yes.
Beautiful woman syndrome.
What is that syndrome, Rick?
The beautiful woman syndrome?
Yes.
Well, how much time do we have for this one? Beautiful woman syndrome is a woman who's never had to put herself out there, never had to have a personality, never had to be that great in bed, never had to do any of those things because she's beautiful.
It's like being a superhero or something.
Yeah.
What the world must be, it must look amazing
Well,
through those
Well,
eyes.
it looks till about
Straddled.
you're 35, and then the world starts changing.
I think one of the biggest mistakes they make on a first date is oogling other women.
Oh my God!
They look at other women.
You have to forgive that.
But for me, a guy's got to be cool enough to know not to do that.
You can't change people. You have to accept
Right.
people the way they are and accept men the way they are. And so that's why I think at the beginning, onset of a relationship, from date 1, you put everything on the table. I'm not afraid of that. It's everything on the table.
I've heard the issues you have on the second date you have forever.
Yeah, men reveal themselves on the first and second date.
Yeah.
When they start talking about things, you need to listen, because when I was with a man 1, 2, 3 years, the things they said on their first and second date were coming out 3 years later. And it's like, wow, I need to listen to what they're talking about on the first and second date.
Well, believe someone when they show you who they are the first time.
Yeah, exactly, because they
that's
do.
how they are.
See, but I guess I don't mean so much like they're revealing
Yeah.
everything and they're telling you all their like deep dark secrets and hopes and wants. It's more like, is he late? How does he treat the waitress? Like, is his car really messy? Like, those are the kind of things. Not that he,
Is his car really messy?
Well, no, but things like that. I'm saying, like, you can tell those things about people that don't change that much after the first 5 times you date, maybe. Like, if you have real issues with things like, God, the waitress, he's always so rude to the waitress, or every time he's late. Those are the kind of things that maybe say a lot more, too, that if those really are issues for you, that those kind of things don't
Never
really
has
change.
enough money to pay the
Never has
bill
enough
or
money.
Yeah.
Isn't nice to your friends. Hates his mother. Complains all the time. Every time you see him, it's the worst day ever. I mean, whatever it is, those are the kind of patterns I think that you notice that don't really change that much.
The word nice is probably overused, but it's, you meet somebody, they have a certain look, and you're either attracted or you're not, or you're on the margin, and then over time, you get to know somebody, they either get more beautiful or they get less beautiful.
Melinda Maximova hears stories like this every day. It's her job to find the perfect match for busy, highly successful clients. She often finds the same difficulties John Gray does.
When a guy goes into a first date, all he's concerned about is making an impression. He doesn't want to look foolish, the first thing. What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? And there's another pressure on a guy, which is, how am I going to kiss you and how am I going to get you into bed? And if I don't get you into bed, am I a failure or am I a success? So for men, it's always about, what do I have to do to get from the point of meeting you to getting you into bed? And that can seem like 150 rejections or potential rejections. And often women feel betrayed. They feel like, well, wow, you came on to me sexually. You were so interested. How could you just use me like that? But he really didn't know if he liked her. He was getting to know whether he likes her or not after spending more time with her.